we're going to make a smoothie together. I pray this video finds you well, and that if you're dealing with any dilemmas, issues, that you are finding resolution and not coping mechanisms, that you are working towards bettering yourself and shifting and changing as your mental and physical being shifts and change. So today I'm here to talk about that shift into 30. It's only been almost 3 weeks. I turned 30 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so it's like when I instantly turned 30, it's like my mind started to shift in a bit. So I started becoming like aware of different things that such as health issues. What does that mean in a 30-year-old body? With us getting older, just naturally you have more fat that's going to accumulate in your body, and different things that's just inevitable as you get older. And so thinking about that, and 30 really sealing in me having more of an open dialogue with myself and being realistic about what I'm doing to add or not add to my well-being. And I've been in a rut for a minute, and I have made some big changes, such as a move to kind of shift that, because the ideal is, people have this ideal is as if you're financially sound, or at least financially stable enough, and you have the means, that happiness should automatically come with that. And that's not always the case, because you can have all the stability in the world, but you may not be mentally stable, or feeling like you given your all in being fulfilled. Because fulfillment doesn't just come from money. Fulfillment comes from engagement with people, being realistic about what you like, what you don't like, what feeds you, what fuels you. And I haven't been fueling what my soul really desires, and so that has left me in a rut. And so with that, I have just through conversation, some things came up as far as like ways that I can start instilling that discipline, or getting more out of that default mode of brain, because the mind is going to do what it will do if you don't tell it what to do. So if the prime example is when you're driving a vehicle. If you're driving a vehicle in autopilot, you're going to go naturally to wherever you're used to going on that path. Like, say if I say I'm gonna go to the store, but in the route of the store is also my doctor's office or something like that, or maybe my parents' house. If I'm in autopilot and I'm used to always going to my parents' house, I'm going to pass that store straight up, because I'm going with the auto programming that's there. So if I'm used to feeding myself negative energy and giving myself negative feedback, if I'm allowing my brain to be in an autopilot mode, that's all that's going to happen. And I'm going to see a lot of negativity around me, and how I interact with people, what I allow, what I don't allow, how I interact with people, and things of that nature. So I've been molding my mind to be more of the discipline of those hard boundaries I want to set up, saying something when something don't sound right, even if I may be wrong. But if I never express it, I would never know if I was wrong about a feeling or not. And so, and even just taking care of myself in a way that I should, and being up to date on appointments, checking certain things, having those days where I pour into myself, do activities that I really love to refuel myself, versus just working and sleeping and consuming television programming. So as of lately, I have been kind of posing 3 questions, or maybe 3 statements, some questions, just a combination of it, which entails like if I'm in a situation where I feel myself getting anxious or I feel myself getting uncomfortable, I ask myself a few things. So what would my mother do in this situation? How would she react? How would she feel? How would she express herself? And that's just like a reinforcement of me kind of going back into my mind and taking control of the situation and thinking it out and not making irrational decisions. And another one is thinking about the things, not waiting until there's a situation of me being pregnant or me wanting to be wanting to be pregnant to make health changes. I can wake up and say, today you're not carrying a child, but you're carrying yourself, and yourself needs a lot of things, mentally, spiritually, and physically. That can be reading my Bible every day, meditating, stretching every day. That could be eating a smoothie, eating greens, taking my vitamins. Whatever kind of body that I think I'm supposed to have in order to produce a healthy child that don't have health issues and things like that. I can do that without having a child inside of me. I can make myself the child. I care for the child in me. And me included, you get so lost in being everything for other people and being available for other people and justifying not being those things to yourself, because you almost feel like it's me, so I can push the limits. I don't have to do for me that what I do for other people, and in actuality you do. If you care about somebody else's feelings and you have open space for them to express themselves, you have to give yourself that space too. And we can be our worst enemies, but I want us to be our biggest advocate and advocate for how we feeling, what we don't like, what we do like. Just like we would advocate for a child of ours, a niece and nephew of ours, a spouse of ours, a parent of ours. Like, they, it's always like the saying, people can do whatever they want to me, or respond or treat me ill, but you can't do that to my child, or you can't do that to my partner. You can't do that to my mom or my dad. But you gotta say, you can't do that to me. If it won't fly for me, it won't fly for nobody. If you can't misuse me, that should start with me and not for the person that I care for dearly. I gotta do what I do to pour into others, to pour into myself. So that one was a key one. And then the last kind of question or statement or kind of thinking that I've been pushing myself towards is, if I had younger me watching me every day, every night, what would I want to show her being a woman is, and mannerisms, and taking care of herself, how she interacts with others, how she sets boundaries for herself. That's not about other people, but about taking care of your feelings, because no one truly, people are about the business of themselves, and that's just the reality of it. You have selfless people, but you have selfish people. And I feel like, you should never be selfless with yourself to the capacity where you're allowing selfish people just to have their way with you. We all need to be a little selfish, and we can still be selfless and be there for other people, but we have to be selfish with ourselves with some things, because nobody is not going to do for you what you can do for yourself. So those are like where my mind is going, where I'm starting to shift, because as a reflection over the last 12 years of adulthood, because you are adult when you're 18, and that was the age that I started to make bigger decisions for myself as far as finances, because I had job, I had refund checks coming in, I had to buy school books, I, made sure I had spending money. So that is when I started to make more decisions for myself that wasn't attached to my parents. Yeah, it indirectly affected them because I worked hard not to add anything to them, having them having to figure out how they're going to pay for my books, or shifting things for that. I took the responsibility. I was going to school, I was becoming an adult, so there were certain responsibilities that I felt that I needed to take at that point. So since 18, and thinking now 12 years later, I have made a lot of accomplishments. But there are a lot of things that I have, what they say, fumbled the bag on, or didn't make the wisest decision with. And now that I'm 30, I want to be more cognizant of the decisions that I make sure they're more well thought out decisions. Don't make a decision based on somebody else being happy. Make a decision on yourself being happy. Don't be an asshole to people, but don't allow people to stump all over me either. And even I want to learn, when somebody like clearly offends me or says something, or I feel like, they don't really care what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Not to get frustrated, because that only fuels that it does nothing for me. I want to be able to express myself without being so emotional or irritating, especially in cases where you think the other person should have your best interest in mind, your best welfare in mind, because you have theirs in mind. So, yeah. So that's just some things that I'm working on, and really seeing how far I have come mentally, how much physically I've changed, how much mentally I have changed, and where I can improve, and where I can set boundaries for, and how I can, boss up and do things better business wise, finances wise, to make my money count for me, and how I can be a better person in my relationships, romantic, familiar, family relationships, and friendships. And yeah, so now we're going to make a smoothie together. Today I will be making a strawberry avocado smoothie. So our first ingredient is our Simply almond milk. And so almond milk is a great alternative to dairy milk, and it's plant-based. So what I like about this particular brand is it doesn't have all those gums and different additives in it. This is simply your almonds, water, some sea salt, and some vanilla. So this is perfect because it doesn't have all those added ingredients. So compared to a lot of almond milks that I have tried in the past. And so then you have your whole strawberries, and then I have some avocados, some frozen avocados. And the cool thing about frozen fruits and vegetables, once they pick them, they immediately freeze them, so they're actually fresher than your fresh fruit and vegetables that you buy in the store. Other than if you buy from like a food market, or someone who's locally picking it and selling it, like on Saturdays and stuff like that. So then we have flax seeds and spinach. So let's get to it. Today I will be using my Ninja Bullet. This bullet is pretty much one of the top blenders that's out there, I think, in comparison to Magic Bullet. But I got it on sale on Amazon, so if you ever wanted one but you don't want to pay the big retail price, I say wait till Amazon have like the prime deals, or they have daily deals. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm not putting ice in there because I need to get some ice trays, but typically you will add your liquid first. And so I'm trying to get at least maybe 3-4 servings of it. So I'm gonna add maybe 2 cups or maybe 2.5 cups of the almond milk, because a lot of these fruits and veggies are actually water based, so that's gonna, you know, add to, you know what, I just use the rest of this because this stuff doesn't have a big shelf life. So next I'm gonna add my spinach, about 2 cups. So I'm gonna do like 2 handfuls, maybe 3, or maybe I just, yeah, this should be enough spinach. And then add like a cup of avocado, and I like that they got them in chunks. So I just eyeball what looks like a cup. Let's see, gotta open. And then strawberries, about the same, about a cup. Ooh, and that's these whole strawberries, so those should be good. And then some flax seeds. It's like 2 tablespoons. Okay, and then with these Ninja bullets, you have to do everything according to what the alignment is. So this arrow is here, I gotta attach that there, and it's closed, there's nothing interfering with it. And then I like to give it a little shake to mix it. Then I pull up my base here, and all this has to align. So this arrow here actually has to be here in order for the blender to actually run. So let's see, and boom. So now we're ready to blend. So I usually do medium starting and then finish it high, but I think I'm just going to do it high just so it gets it real blended up really well. Oh, it'll help if I have it on. So now I have my glass jar that I'm gonna put on my smoothie in. And then I have this little funnel so it'll be a messless. Okay, and then I have the little pour. Ooh. Ooh, look at that smoothie. That way I have somewhere to keep my smoothie. And then if you find the consistency isn't what you want, like this is a little more chunky than I like, I just add a little almond milk and shake this bottle. And then that way I can clean my blender. Look at all that product. And then whatever don't fit, I can just pour it in my cup to enjoy now. Yeah, I think that may be as much as I'm gonna fill it. And then I get me a cup. Onto my cup. That in there. Ooh, yes. Did pretty good. You know, sometimes. Ooh, okay. So I'm just adding a little milk. This one, just close this up, lock it. Get this to mix up real well. You can even tell in the bottle it's a little thinner. And then I can refrigerate this. And I can drink off of it for the rest of the day. And then even if I don't drink it all today, I can pour it until tomorrow. But my intent is to finish all this today. So I'm just adding a little milk. This one, just close this up, lock it. Get this to mix up real well. You can even tell in the bottle it's a little thinner. And then I can refrigerate this. And I can drink off of it for the rest of the day. And then even if I don't drink it all today, I can pour it until tomorrow. But my intent is to finish all this today.